Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. And the first thing that I want to say is good morning and happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are saving money. I hope you're increasing your credit score and increasing your purchasing power. And thank you for joining me this morning. Really excited to start this morning's live video. On my live videos, I've kind of tried to transition my housing market update videos into my live videos. So if you guys are wondering where my house market update videos have been, it's in our live videos now. I will be timestamping this live video. Where we're going to start, y'all, is by talking about interest rates. Have we hit 7% interest rates yet? Have we not? There's Johnny. I was just going to say, where's Johnny at? There's his nervous comment. I see you, Johnny. I've been worried about Johnny. So we'll start with the interest rates. After the interest rates, we're going to go into a couple of videos on Fed Bullard and why he thinks we're going to need an additional 2 increases. So he's saying the Fed needs to raise interest rates 2 more times this year. So that's pretty exciting. Now, after that, I'm going to go into the Reventure app. This is the first time that I'm going to be showing you guys the Reventure app. I'm super ashamed of myself. I actually just accessed the app last night for the first time in 6 months. So I'm going to do another video on a breakdown of the Reventure app just to give you guys my overall opinion. But I'm super ashamed of myself. This app is actually, it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of information just centralized. So I'm going to be going into the Reventure app and basically showing you guys home values and inventory, but also more importantly, on affordability. I'm going to kind of try to paint a picture of why we have price decline going on in Northern California, even though they have a lack of inventory, yet we don't have as much price decline in an area like Florida that is actually surging with inventory. And I believe the reason that is other than the migration and the work from home, unaffordability. So I'm going to be going into the Reventure app. We'll look at stuff like that, population growth, cap rates, and things like that. So that's what y'all are in store for this morning. But I just wanted to, start by talking about a couple things. If you're on the sideline in the housing market, okay, in the housing market, we want deflation and negative prices, right? We want deflation. So I just wanted to point out that we have a few things in our favor right now. Whereas if you're more bullish, the housing market's not going to crash. It's already rebounded. You don't have these things on your side. So the first thing is we are not fighting the Fed. Remember that the people on the sidelines like us, we're not fighting the Fed. We're pausing just temporarily. We don't want to get trapped in renting. We're not saying renting is a great idea. We're just saying temporarily we're pausing, but we are not fighting the Fed. The second thing is we're not saying this time's different. That's what the market's doing. The market's saying we're going to fight the Fed. The market's saying this time is different. We're not saying that. Well, we are saying this time is different, but we're not saying it's so different that the house prices are not going to crash. So the first 2 things that I mentioned to you guys, those are like investing 101, right? Don't fight the Fed. Don't say that this time's different. We have those on our side. Okay. The third thing, this is huge. We have the inverted yield curves. We have the inverted yield curves, and I'm talking inversion from the 3-month to the 2-year. Everything is inverted, and usually that is a great economic indicator of an incoming recession, which equals unemployment. And when unemployment happens, everything continues to spiral out of control. Now, the fourth thing that we have in our favor, as opposed to realtors that are just pushing, saying, up and up and up, Powell, the Federal Reserve chairman, has told us, hold up. You may want to step out of the housing market and wait for a reset. He said that to us, and he's gone to he's said so many things. He's given us so many warnings. So I just wanted to remind you guys, those are the things that we have, going in our favor. So let me pull up the interest rates real quick. We're going to look at this morning's interest rates. This is pretty good news, you guys. Obviously, interest rates have been skyrocketing. Here's where we're at with interest rates, okay? Now, this is the 1-year view. Not really important, but let me show you where we're at today and this is crazy. And remember, you guys, this is just these are just the averages. If you have like a less than a 720 credit score, less than a 20% down payment, your interest rate's probably going to be higher than this. But look at what it ended yesterday at. We are almost at 7% again. Thank goodness. This is exactly what we want, because we want deflation in the housing market. And in order to get that, we need people and consumers to stop buying. But right now, we ended yesterday at 6.95, almost at 7%. So let's see first of all, you guys, tell me if you think today we're going to hit 7%. I think we're going to hit 7% at the end of today. All right. So if you guys want, come back to this page. This is the Mortgage News Daily right here, Mortgage News Daily. Go to interest rates towards the end of this day. And again, we're probably going to hit over 7% today. Okay, so we're probably going to hit over 7% today. Here's why I'm saying that. We woke up this morning with the 10-year going up again. So the 10-year has been unrelentless. This is good. Has been unrelentless for the last, week and a half, maybe? About a week and a half. It's been unrelentless. We're at 3.75%. We didn't even have to hit 4% to hit 7% in the interest rates for mortgages. Do y'all notice that? That's a really good thing. The fact we don't need 4% to hit 7. That's really, really good. We're at 7% right now. I could tell you that right now. It's just we're not seeing that in the forecast in the charts yet because it's not updated yet. It's not taking into account that the 10-year is already up this morning. So I could pretty much guarantee y'all that we will end as long as that 10-year stays up. Okay. As long as that, if the 10-year goes down, we won't. But if that 10-year treasury stays up, we're going to end today with interest rates over 7%. Okay. And again, that's a good thing because there's been a rebound in the housing market and we need that to stop. We need more people, unfortunately, to be priced out. We need less investor demand. We need lower cap rates. We need all of those things. So now what I want to do is, because there's a lot of what's going to happen next with interest rates. So far, the market believes the Fed is not going to raise interest rates in June. Okay, overall. Okay, but that's greatly shifting. Okay, so now the market is starting to, it's not fully there, but it's starting to price in the fact that they're going to raise interest rates in June by a quarter of a basis point or 25 basis point. And that's actually really, really super good because, again, we need to tamper demand, right? The catalyst of demand right now, other than the sentiment, again, excess savings, but the sentiment is going to be crushed if interest rates are in the 7%. So even if someone can afford a house is my point. So now what I want to do, guys, is I'm buying T-bills, Johnny. I'm just being real, man. I'm buying T-bills, Johnny. I see your comment, Johnny. I'm buying T-bills. I'm buying T-bills. I'm getting over 5%. What am I supposed to do? I mean, it's over 5%. Anyways, it's crazy. So let me pull up some videos. We're going to start here on this Bloomberg. You guys need a subscription to access this, but I'm still going to have the link here just in case you do. So first, we're going to hear him talk. We're going to hear Bullard talk, and then we're going to watch another video where they're going to break down his speech. So I'm going to play this for you guys right now. Let me know that the volume's okay. Okay, so if you guys can comment, let me know the volume's okay. But he's going to go into the fact that we need to continue increasing interest rates. Have a listen.
Robust growth for the U.S. economy in 2023, and you've got inflation that does not come down fast enough. Now you've got markets ratcheting up their expectations for inflation for the whole year. I saw a chart on Bloomberg today. Now markets are thinking that inflation for the whole year will be over 4%. They used to be have a 3 handle on that. They moved it up over 4%. So I think the 5 1/8 idea was based on a slower growing economy than the one we're actually seeing. And it's based on inflation coming down faster than what we're actually seeing. So for that reason, I think we're going to have to grind higher with the policy rate in order to put enough downward pressure on inflation to return inflation to target in a timely manner. So I'm thinking, 2 more moves this year. Now, exactly where those would be this year, I don't know, but I've often advocated sooner rather than later. You want to get the downward pressure on inflation while you can. And also, you want to fight inflation while the labor market's really strong. You've got an unemployment rate here, a national unemployment rate of 3.4%, a 50-year low. Most of us have never seen that in our business careers. You've got job openings still 40% higher than they were in 2019 before the pandemic. It seems like quite a bit of structural change going on in the labor market. It's still hard to get workers. So as long as the labor market is so good, it's a great time to fight inflation and get it back to target, get this problem behind us, and not replay the 1970s.
Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Let me know what you guys, let me remove that comment. Sorry about that. Let me know what you guys think of that. I cannot exit out of this. 1 minute, you guys. Apologize. I got to exit out. This is playing a commercial in the background. So, that was him talking. So now we're going to go into, I was going to use a Fox. I don't even want to mention the word Fox News because I got so much hate for that. So I'm going to use Yahoo Finance. And this video is going to go into basically analyzing what he's saying. It's going to go into what's going on with interest rates a little bit more detailed. And it's going to go into a little bit about the debt ceiling, but only a little bit about the debt ceiling. So we're not playing politics. I just wanted to make that clear, but this is an interesting video. Let me pull this up, guys, so you can hear it. And let me know that the sound is good if you can. And we're going to start that right now.
From a slew of Fed speakers this morning, first out of the gate was St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard. Here's Jennifer Schonberger with those details. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey there, Rochelle. That's right. St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard says that he thinks the Federal Reserve could raise rates 2 more times this year, though the timing of that remains uncertain. He would favor sooner rather than later. Speaking in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Bullard said since growth has surprised to the upside and inflation has been slower to come down than thought, quote, I think we're going to have to grind higher with the policy rate in order to put enough downward pressure on inflation. He went on to say, I'm thinking 2 more moves this year. Not exactly sure when those would be this year, but I've often advocated for sooner rather than later. Now, Bullard said he's not anticipating any changes to the Fed's quantitative tightening program anytime soon. When it comes to the debt ceiling, he says that is, quote, a must pass, saying default or partial default on the U.S. debt would mean you'd have to pay more to borrow in the future because there would be a risk premium than there otherwise should be. Rochelle?
And Jennifer, we know, of course, deliberations over raising the U.S. debt ceiling are escalating. And as we quickly approach that ex-date deadline of June 1st, at least according to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, it does seem that President Biden may have a solution to the country's debt crisis.
Yeah, Rochelle, President Biden saying over the weekend he believes he has the authority to use the 14th Amendment to unilaterally deal with the debt ceiling, though he acknowledged that there are legal implications there, and surmounting those do remain in question as to whether that could be a viable solution. The comments come as President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy still appear far apart after a phone call Sunday afternoon. The two leaders expected to meet this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. at the White House. Negotiations ground to a halt this weekend, with both sides blaming each other. Sunday, during a press conference in Japan at the G7, President Biden called the Republican proposal, quote, unacceptable, a departure from his upbeat posture last week. Take a listen.
Now it's time for the other side to move from their extreme positions, because much of what they've already proposed is simply, quite frankly, unacceptable. It's time for Republicans to accept that there is no bipartisan deal to be made solely on their partisan terms. They have to move as well.
The president says he's willing to cut spending, but Republicans refuse to entertain raising taxes as a way to cut the budget. Biden saying, quote, revenue is not off the table, and that's what we continue to have a significant disagreement on, the revenue side. Republicans want to cap spending increases for over the next 10 years, while the White House is looking at 2 years. So, Rochelle, a very big gap here is still remaining. We'll see how things shake out after this evening's meeting between the president and Speaker McCarthy. Back to you.
Yeah, indeed, a lot of moving pieces here. It seems like we make progress and then sort of get a bit of a pullback here. Jennifer Schonberger, thank you so much.
The city.
Okay, so, comment below if you guys can. Let me know if you guys think that we should or should not have 2 additional rate hikes. But, basically what they're saying is, or at least he's saying is, inflation's too sticky, that they're kind of losing recently anyways, they're losing the battle of inflation. It's not going down fast enough, and that additional rate hikes are needed. And that's kind of obvious, right? The rates weren't high enough to battle the inflation. We kind of knew that from the very beginning, but it is what it is. really refreshing though to hear, representatives be realistic like that, at least in my opinion. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I have to reset up my screen. Give me a minute here. And we're going to go into the Reventure app, and I'm going to go around the nation, kind of give you some updates on what's going on. And really, I really like this app. Again, I'm going to do a breakdown of the Reventure app on another video. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what's going on here. Okay. Okay. So here's what we're going to do, guys. All right. We're going to go into the Reventure app now, and I'm going to point out some pretty cool things. But before I do that, I wanted to show you guys how to access it, because I had a preconceived notion, basically, that, let's see here. Hold on 1 minute, guys. I had a preconceived notion that it was complicated. So we're going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to kind of just take you through, using his data, using his app, what's going on in the nation. So let me explain to you guys how easy it is to access the Reventure app. And I'm not 100% sure. I've been a member of his channel for a while. I think it's $5. So I'm really disappointed in myself. It's taken me so long to access this. But anyways, just starting from the beginning, you go to Google, as you can see here, you type in Reventure Consulting, right? Here's his website right here. You click that. And this is how I'm going to show you how to get. There's other ways as well. Obviously, you go to services, hit Reventure app. Oh, you guys can't see this. Something's wrong. Okay, hold on. Okay, see what I mean? Something's wrong with StreamYard, you guys. So I have to do it like this. I have to share my entire screen. I didn't want to do that because my arrow, like this little mouse arrow, gets all messed up from StreamYard. So anyways, we're going to have to do it like this. So let me go back. Okay, because you guys didn't see that. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I try to be on top of it. Okay, so Reventure Consulting in Google. His website comes up. Just go to services and then Reventure app. It's literally, and then here, click this Reventure app right here. You see that? I'm going to hit that, and it's literally that easy. That's it. That's all it took. So I'm ashamed. It took me, this has been out, what, 6 months? And last night was the first time I logged in. Y'all, last night was the first time I logged into this app. Isn't that neglect, right? Neglect. So anyways, I'm going to do a rundown of this app, you guys. It is, there's one thing I don't like about it. I'll save it for the video, but this app right here, and I'm not selling, his app, but it has an overwhelming amount of data and information pertaining to the housing market in one central location. So I'm like blown away by how amazing this is. And it's all right here. He made it really nice and compact, but we're going to start with home value growth month over month. All right. And here's what I really want to, point out here. Now, what this is indicating, this is home price growth. This is only month over month. All right. Now, first of all, I told someone that I'm going to do a breakdown of Charlotte. So let's start with Charlotte. Okay. So Charlotte is showing month over month of 0. So it's showing no growth in Charlotte, which is better than upward swing. So right now, Charlotte showing no growth. And then someone asked about Oregon. I think it was Bend, Oregon. Bend, Oregon still going down. That's awesome. Month over month, it's down negative 0.4%. So the stuff in red is going up. Like my boy Jeff in St. Louis, look at St. Louis. St. Louis is a little bit more red. Y'all see that? So St. Louis is actually going up. And as are a lot of these other places in orangish, like, what is this? Pecos, Texas? What? 4.7% up month over month? That's crazy. Here's Houston, my place. Houston's down 0.01%. So basically even. But here's what I wanted to point out, all right? I wanted to point out over here. So a lot of the country is rebounding, but not all of the country is rebounding. We can easily see that the West Coast is still experiencing negative prices, right? Is still experiencing decline. So when we go over here, kind of the Silicon Valley area, starting, basically San Jose, you can see San Jose is down still 1.27%. Now, this is the point I want to make, and this is why I really like this app. So Northern California is arguably experiencing the heaviest all-around price crashing. Northern California is. So, and we can see that. And even in month over month, we can see that. Look, again, San Jose, negative 1.27. These are like the leading metro areas, right? This whole area, San Francisco, this whole little Silicon Valley area right here, okay? But what I wanted to point out is this. Let me click on San Jose. Let me show you guys something, okay? I wanted to show you this. I hope you guys can see that okay. But this is important to understand. San Jose it's like, depending on what source, it's like the number 2. Okay, so it's like the number 2 metro area of decline following Austin. Okay, but I wanted to point this out. Unlike Austin, okay, San Jose, unlike Austin, has almost no inventory growth. Okay, there's a point I'm trying to make. San Jose, if you look here, only has inventory growth of 10%. So the number 2 crashing metro area has almost no inventory. Think about that for a minute and let's ask ourselves why. Okay, why would the second biggest crashing metro area have almost no inventory growth? Comment below. Let me know if y'all can figure that out. Now I want to show you this. Look at Austin. Okay, let's look at the number 1 metro area that's crashing. Okay, now it's only down 0.66 month over month, but take a look at this. Look at the inventory growth. The inventory growth in Austin, y'all, 300%. The inventory growth in San Jose, 10%. Do you see what I'm saying? Inventory growth, 300, whopping 300% in Austin, only 10% in San Jose. Yet both of those are massively crashing metro areas. So I want to point out they're crashing, y'all, for different reasons. And that's really why I like this data here. It's really a lot easier for me to understand what's going on in the big picture because it's got so many data sets. So let's come back here in a minute, okay? So let's go to the inventory now. But again, I wanted to, and we'll come back to values. Don't worry, we'll go into this deeper. But I wanted to really show you guys the difference in the number 1 and number 2 crashing metro areas. They're crashing for essentially different reasons, all right? Again, comment below. Why is Silicon Valley crashing when they have almost no inventory? Comment below. I want to see what you guys think. There's a reason, right? But what's the reason? Okay, and we looked at the inventory. So now let's look at this. So this is really cool what you guys do. I can't see because my camera's like blocking my view. But if I click this right here, it's going to give me more like data. Look at all the data. This guy right here, absolute beast. Now, I don't agree with everything Nick says, but I agree with a lot of it. And I definitely appreciate him sounding the alarm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select housing payment as a percentage of median income. Okay, and I think you guys are probably already knowing where I'm going with this. All right. Now, first of all, okay, if it's in red, it's super bad. All right. If it's in red, it means that it is super unaffordable in that metro area as compared to median household income. This data set right here, y'all, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this is $5 a month. The fact that this is on a map, and anyways, I'll shut up. I'm acting like I have some man crush right here. I mean, the guy's an absolute genius. But look at this. This is housing payments. Let's start with California. I'm going to go to Silicon Valley. Look at the housing payment as compared to median income, y'all. First of all, let me tell you this. It's suggested that you don't go over 25% of your median household income goes to paying off your mortgage. So the magic number, okay, 25%. Understand that. Magic number fundamentals, 25%. Right now, y'all, as you can see here, San Francisco, housing payment compared to median income, 66%, over half of the income. So one of the reasons why I believe that you're seeing massive decline in San Francisco, San Jose, even without the inventory, is the unaffordability is just psycho. I mean, you can't afford to live there. 66%. Let's look at San Jose. It's hard for me. Okay, so oh my gosh, look at Santa Cruz. Y'all, Santa Cruz, California. Okay, it just moved. Okay, so I just skipped it. It's hard because I can't see it. But anyways, so back to San Jose. San Jose is at 73.5% of your income going to paying your mortgage. Listen to me. San Jose, Northern California is priced out. The natives there, the locals there, they're priced out. You can't buy in Northern California. You can't. It's too expensive. 73%, you guys. 73% of income going to your mortgage in San Jose. That's insane. There was another one at 80%. I can't find it because this is covering the map. Oh, there we go. There it is. It's so small. Here it is. Santa Cruz. Look it. Santa Cruz is one of the worst in shape metro areas at 81% of household income going toward paying the mortgage. Is that not insane, y'all? And I think that's what we're seeing over here in Florida. Okay, so Florida is not as bad as California. Florida is at, okay, here's Miami. Okay, so Miami is at 52%. So 52% of median household income going to paying your mortgage. That's breaking fundamentals, y'all. This is a big data set to take a look at here. So other parts of Florida, Palm Bay's at 40%. We go to the West Coast, Northport's at 50%. Naples is at 56%. So Florida's starting to see it. The unaffordability is like super out of control. Now look at St. Louis. Okay, this is like Jeff's area. Here's the problem with Jeff's area, and here's why he's so frustrated. The housing payment compared to median income is still only 25%. So even though the home price increases in St. Louis broke fundamentals, it's still within that affordability per se. Do y'all see what I'm saying? So St. Louis, unfortunately, is not nearly as unaffordable. But look at Houston. This is my area. Houston's at 34%. Austin, y'all, is high. It's at 46.3%. But it's way worse in areas in Florida, and it's way worse in California, yet Austin's the number one. So I believe Austin's number one. They have a 300% increase in inventory. If we have inventory, everywhere is going to be like Austin, per se. But also, you guys, I'm going to show you rent here in a minute, but look at this area over here by Chicago, this whole northeast area, Illinois, per se. It's still relatively affordable, per se. If we remove fundamentals, right? If it was safe, these are areas that are still fairly quote unquote affordable. I mean, look at Charleston's at 18.62%. Let me go to Charlotte, North Carolina. I promised. I can't quite get it. Come on, Charlotte. It's right here. Okay. I can't really get Charlotte, y'all. I don't know why it's not coming up. Anyways, so North Carolina, about 40%. You guys can see 39, 32%. Let's look at Bend, Oregon. Okay, Bend, oh my gosh. So Elijah asked me to cover, I can't pronounce the county, but it's basically Bend, Oregon. Bend, Oregon's at 58.91%, Elijah. That is insanity. Think about 60% of your income going to paying your mortgage. You're married no longer to your spouse. You're now married to your housing payment. But that's not all, you guys. Look at rent. Okay, so let's look at rent. This is a really cool thing. I really can't see this. I hate it. Sorry, guys. I'm like out of the picture because I'm like trying to creep around the camera. Now, if mortgage payments weren't bad, take a look at the rent compared to income. All right. And let's start at the most affordable areas, again, in California. So now we're just looking at rent. So we could start now to understand why in places in California is declining so much. And also, if we look at Florida, this is why Florida is finally starting to lose the steam it once had, because the unaffordability is catching up. We'll get there in a minute, but there was way more migration into Florida versus into California. But look at the rent, y'all. Let's go back to Silicon Valley. Okay, so starting at San Francisco, just to rent in San Francisco, and again, we want 25% to own. 25% to own, right? To rent in San Francisco is 30% of your median household income, you guys. Let me go, I don't want Fresno. San Jose, Santa Cruz. Okay, so Santa Cruz, y'all, 39% of median household income going to rent in Santa Cruz. People can't afford to live there. That's why we see a migration out of California. That's why we see price decline in California without inventory. Y'all tracking with me? Okay? Then when we go to other areas like Florida, look at Florida is in a similar situation, if not worse than California, or it's getting there. The problem is, again, though, like Florida is being more resistant because there's way more migration. And it's like older money per se. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But Miami, 50% going to rent, 50% of income. Let's see what Houston is, 26%. Let's see St. Louis. St. Louis is only 21%, way more affordable. Durham is at 28%. Let me go to Bend, Oregon, 33%. Geez, Bend, Oregon is expensive. But what I'm trying to explain to you is just to live there, rent or own, California is broken. And that's why we're seeing, so in other words, this is also what I'm saying. Anywhere in the nation that we see it's so unaffordable to either own or rent, we're going to see price decline even without inventory. Again, case in point, also Seattle. If we look at Seattle, it's in a similar situation, although the inventory growth is stronger. But again, I just showed you guys only about 10 to 20% inventory growth in California, whereas in Austin, it's 300%. yet they're about the same as far as decline. Do y'all see? Y'all tracking with me? This is how important it is to understand local trends. And I did another video on this, but now let's go into, I want to show you guys something that's very interesting. So look at how, isn't this a really cool like app right here? Everything is centralized. We're looking now at cap rate. Let me explain why. I love this app. I was like looking at this all night. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Why didn't I look at this sooner? Props to his effort putting this together. Again, there's just one thing I don't like though. I'll get to that in a different video. Here's the cap rates. This is really important to understand because we want way less investor demand. If the cap rates are high, like they have been, investors are going to continue to purchase real estate, right? But right now we're seeing cap rates unravel. We're even seeing a long-term rental market start to unravel, which is like unprecedented and would create an overwhelming amount of problems. But here's the thing. If I bought some treasuries right now, I can yield on my money around 5%. Okay. And that's other than the debt talks and, the default, and that's conversation for another time. It's relatively risk-free. So if I can go and put my money in treasuries right now, getting 5% relatively risk-free, then I'm not going to invest in real estate if I'm an investor, right? So let's see what some of these cap rates are, starting with California. And this is crazy. California, okay, let's go Silicon Valley. San Francisco, cap rate 2.7%. So if I'm an investor, does it make sense for me to invest in San Francisco? If my cap rate to invest in San Francisco is only 2.7%, yet I can take my money and put it into treasuries and get 5%, do investors want to invest in San Francisco? You see my point here? So all of the blue, y'all, means that it's like lowish, right? Here's Riverside at 4.9, San Diego at 3.6, but there are a couple areas. This is probably where Vital lives, right? Because Vital is not saying like good things in his housing market. So there are still some places in California where the cap rate is over 5%. But if you look at Washington, y'all, and Oregon, it doesn't make sense. It pretty much doesn't make sense as an investor to invest in the West Coast, unless you're an investor that's savvy, you're hunting for the great deal, right? You're buy box, blah, 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 all of that type of stuff. You can still find a great deal. This is just overall. Look at same thing with Salt Lake City, Utah, thank goodness, right? Look at Boise, it's only 4.3. So those metro areas with significant price decline are only going to continue because the investor demand is also crippled. Look at Phoenix, only 4.8%. We go to Houston, thank goodness, it's right at 5% on Houston. Austin, 2.9. So that's why investors aren't going in Austin so quickly, because the cap rate, it just isn't there. But look at this, y'all. Take a look at this. This is crazy. Let's look at Florida. First, let me go to Bend, Oregon. I almost didn't cover Oregon. I promised Elijah. Bend, Oregon, cap rate 3.6. Where's Charlotte? Oh my gosh, here's Charlotte. Okay, so Charlotte's at 5.4. So if I'm an investor, if I want to invest in Charlotte, I can make possibly 0.4% more and have all that risk and headache. Does that, do you really want to invest in real estate? But this is what's interesting. Okay, look at the cap rates in Florida. Even though, and this is the other reason why Florida has been, and I don't understand how this is even accurate, but this is why they've been so resilient. The cap rates are still over 5%. Pretty much everywhere in Florida. Look at that, y'all. Cap rates are from 5 to 6% in Florida. So the cap rate's still 6.7%. In Miami, how? I have no clue. 6.9% right here, y'all see? So the cap rates are still not much higher than 5, but it's still there. Now, if I'm an investor, y'all, this is, again, why I love this app. If I'm an investor like Johnny, right? Johnny wants to buy houses. Probably Jeff does. What's going on, James? Been a long time since I see you, brother. James is the man. Been with me from the beginning. I have got many articles from James and done videos. Just quick shout out right there. But if I'm an investor, I'm using this data, or if I can move wherever I want, I'm using this data to figure out where the cap rates are still high. So when I was accessing this, I was like, oh my gosh, look at New Mexico, Roswell. So I can like investigate like UFOs and make money in Roswell. Roswell still has a cap rate of 10.6. Is that wicked? So you can still invest in real estate in some areas and possibly make a good amount, possibly make a decent amount of money. And, and you guys know that, I met with Millennial Mike, I won't go there. I appreciate the guy, but he invests, I believe, in Indiana. So if we look at Indiana, I think probably in this area, I'm not sure where. This is Illinois. Illinois is at 10%, but you can see some pretty nice cap rates on these northern areas right here. And then also these southern areas here, like in Louisiana. Do y'all see these cap rates? Look at this, 11% cap rate still. This is pretty crazy. Now, if I want to invest in Texas, I can see that Layton, Texas is 8.8, but look at South Texas. South Texas and Brownville is still yielding 8.3%. And then look at this, Kingsville, Texas is 10% is a good cap rate. 10% is a good cap rate. I'm not going to act like 10% is not a good cap rate. So again, if I'm investing, I'm taking a look at these areas, high cap rate. I'm looking at other fundamentals like that. But let me show you guys something else. Okay, again, I'm going to have a video on this breakdown, but I wanted to show you guys population real quick. And then we'll end with values again, okay? So let's go to population growth. Here's what's interesting. So everyone's saying the migration, right? Huge, right? Migration is huge in like places like Miami, right? So let's see. But the reality is, and here's the only thing I don't like about this data set right here is it's old. So this data set we're looking at as far as population is about 1.5 years old. So it's not preferable. But I did wanted to point out that the migration into Florida is not what it appeared, because all of the red represents population decline. So I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought everyone was moving to Florida. The reality is actually it's more like old money. I'll show you the age here in a minute. But look at the population. This is crazy. Everyone's moving out of California. They're moving to New Mexico. You know, this area, right around Jeff and Vital, obviously, and Johnny. They're moving right next to them. And unfortunately, that's their housing markets. But very interesting. So it's not just about population growth, right? The migration is more about like where the jobs are at, right? The booming and the migration has to do with more so jobs. That's what I was trying to point out here. So take a look at this other thing, guys. This is pretty crazy. I'm gonna go to demographics. So you see when I click here, look at more, it gives us more data. Okay, let's go to median age. Check this out. This is crazy. This is pretty crazy. So like, this is why I love this app. We don't even have to guess anymore. It allows me to really formulate some really good opinions. I want to hocus pocus. I want to focus on Florida. Okay. So this is going to point out the average ages in Florida. This is pretty crazy. Look at this. Okay. So let's start with Naples. So the median age for home ownership in Naples is 51 years old. 51 years old, y'all, in Naples. Okay. Let me show you just to kind of, case in point. Let's look at Charlotte. Charlotte's 37 years old. So the average home ownership in Florida, where I just showed you in Naples, is over a decade older. What does this tell us? It can tell us that a predominant amount of the home ownership in Florida is probably second homes. It's probably speculation. It's probably investors. It's where people go to retire. Isn't that fascinating? Which may be another reason why, up until recently, by the way, Florida has been so sticky. So here's another one. Deltona, 47 years old. Miami's 41. Port St. Lucie, 47. Do y'all see that? Isn't that fascinating to you guys? Now look at Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach may be a retirement community. That's an average age of about 50 years old, right? Georgetown, also 50 years old. Really crazy. And look at Texas. This is really, really crazy. So Texas, when I go to Houston, average age of home ownership, 34. Isn't this amazing to you? At 34, let's look at Austin. Austin's 35. Isn't it crazy how different metro areas are losing price value for different reasons? It's really quite astonishing. San Antonio, 35. Houston, 35. Let's go out to Silicon Valley or Silicon. So San Francisco, about 40. Okay, Stockton, 34, Modesto, 34. So Merced, 31. So let's just put this in perspective. Sacramento, 37. So they're saying that the average age in Sacramento is 37. What 37-year-old can afford that? You know what I'm saying? Like what percentage of 37-year-olds can afford $1 million house? I can't even, I'm going to be 40 this year, y'all. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't even come close to affording those houses, right? I'm just saying, dang, I felt old just saying that right now. I mean, y'all, I'm out there being active, and it just really sucks. Mercedes, 31 years old. This is insane. Let's look at Salt Lake, y'all. 32 years old. Okay. Boise, 36. Amazing. Seattle, 37. How can you afford to live in Seattle at 37? It's almost $1 million median average, right? Let me click on Seattle. Let's see. So the home value average in Seattle, 700,000. That's insane, you guys. Median household income, 100,000. Home price growth, negative 3.2%. But again, look at the active inventory growth. Year over year is only 66%. And yet Seattle is like the number, 6 declining metro area. So again, what I'm pointing out here, and we see that on the West Coast, we do not necessarily need inventory in every metro area. In some we will, in many like St. Louis, right, we'll need inventory. But in some areas, we don't even need inventory for price decline. Y'all see? Y'all agree with me on that? I mean, we see it in the data. So let me go back to home values. Again, I'm going to do another breakdown. I really love this map. He has this little thing over here as well for like shopping. I think this is more for investors over here or purchasing, but really, really cool. So we're going to go again, home values. This is month over month. This is not including April. This is only to March. Okay. So it puts things in more perspective. If it's in red, it's going up. If it's in blue, it's either plateauing or going down. So what we have here is we have a mix, right? We have a mix, but the good thing is like in January, this was almost all blue, and blue is good. Blue means no growth. But this is what I wanted to point out. It has taken forever for Florida to start losing steam. Florida is finally losing steam. Isn't that insane? Like when other metro areas are now rebounding, that's the time when Florida starts declining. Like what? Like how are these trends? Some of this stuff is hard. I'm not going to act like I know everything. This stuff is hard to understand because everything is so localized, right? But look at, if it's almost across the board, this is month over month decline. Jacksonville, month over month decline. When most everywhere else is going up. Deltona, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie, Miami. Miami was actually not declined. It was basically balanced. It was up 0.36%. Key West is down month over month. Cape Coral. That took me only 6 months to get right. Cape Coral, not Corral. Reminds me of Tombstone. Great movie. Anyways, so Florida's starting to change. It's really crazy. Really, really crazy. Let's see what is like heating up. All right. So New York is in trouble. Look at New York. I want to see. Let me go to Tampa. Not Tampa. Where is it at? Charlotte. Here's Charlotte. So Charlotte's 0. Let me go to Bend. Bend is down 0.4%. So going back to Oregon, Bend over here. Okay, because Elijah asked for this. Let's look at Bend and let's see what's going on. So home price growth is still up year over year at 2.9%, but home price growth is going down, and in fact, it is going down month over month. Now, what's interesting to note is inventory growth is there, but it's not like Austin where it's 300%. Inventory growth is 90%. So I think, and that's not a lot, by the way. So I think what we're saying here is, as far as Bend, Oregon, we are seeing inventory growth, which is helping. So I think with the inventory growth and the unaffordability factor when compared to median household income, that's why we're seeing Oregon finally start to unravel. So the seasonal trends have not increased the value here, I believe, because of the unaffordability. This map just gives me just such a stronger ability, y'all, to quickly analyze things. I really admire it. You guys, go ahead and if you guys have anything else that you want me to kind of go over here, throw it up real quick, guys. Throw it up on the screen if you want me to cover a specific area. But, that's where I really wanted to kind of just keep us today. For $5, I think it's $5 or $8 for this. This is Again, I make no money. I'm not selling this at all, but for $5, like I want to cancel my other subscriptions because this has so much data and so much analytics that we can really formulate. Okay, South Texas. Okay, so we have Kim, I got a South Texas. Let's go to South Texas real quick. Okay, like South. Okay, here's South Texas. Take a look. I love fishing in this area. This is Padre Island National Seashore. This is a 60-mile beach right here. I can drive down this beach and disappear from everyone. I mean, it is raw out there, y'all. You get killed out there. I mean, it's wicked. So here's South Texas. This is so interesting to note that, crazy as it sounds, some of these South cities are actually experiencing price growth month over month. And as we see here, this is a 10% month over month growth. But when we look at the median sales price, it's an extremely small median sales price. So that's not saying much. So remember when we analyze the cap rate, so the cap rates were much better in South Texas. Maybe we're seeing but it's also next to the border. So maybe we're seeing like these go up because of investor demand. And also maybe I don't know for sure, right? I can go down there and spend my money. But maybe the crossing the border crisis, I mean, I don't want to go into the immigration. I think it's a huge mess that needs to be fixed, but I'm always, I just have compassion and empathy, man. Like these people are human beings. Something needs to be done. I mean, it's just, the whole thing is just murdering us. But they're still humans. But anyways, here's Dallas, negative 20%. So anyways, you guys, let me go North Carolina. I kind of went over it. Here's North Carolina. It's kind of mixed. Some places are going up. Some places are balanced. I really want this to update to April. Okay, this is to, like I said, March. So it's not giving us what we want as far as like a little bit more recent data, but it is good. So anyways, you guys, immigration. So that's going to do it for today. And I hope you guys liked it. So what I'm going to do when I got a super chat. So I'll confront that super chat real quick. But what I'm going to do, guys, is after I hit like end recording, I'm going to go back into the live and I'm going to chapter everything for you guys as well if you want to come back here. But I'm also going to include the links if you guys want to access anything that I did. I obviously had a membership to, let's see here. Why is it just Bloomberg? I don't know why that slipped my mind. So let's pull up the super chat real quick. Can you talk about Gilbert and Flagstaff? Okay, let's zoom in. Okay, let's see. So obviously Flagstaff. All right, I go over Flagstaff. So we'll go over Flagstaff real quick. I respect. Okay, and brother Gizmo, great movie by the way. Great movie. Gremlins is a great movie. I honestly think that Phoenix has the potential to be the #1 crashing metro area. I think it has the potential if the city regulates Airbnb. There's so much Airbnb right now in Phoenix, Arizona, topped with the new construction hyper supply. They have hyper supply and new construction in that area. Okay. Copper Canyon and Desert Oasis. I flew and drove there myself and walked it. So again, but San Jose is just so messed up, and so is Austin. Austin has 300% increase in inventory. So it's hard for me to say at this point it's going to be #1, but I definitely think it's going to get there. Now, Flagstaff is only up year over year, 2.8%. Home value is $583,000. Median income is only $64,000. Way out of reach for locals. So Flagstaff, way out of reach for locals, way too expensive. Again, you have active inventory growth of 91%. I would say it's probably right in the middle as far as like heavily potentially crashing metro areas, I would say. But unfortunately, month over month, it did go up. So probably when this updates for April, we're going to see an additional month over month increase. I believe April, we're going to see increases potentially in May, but come June, July, I think it's dead in the water. I think the house market's going to be dead in the water. And then we're going to have that whiplash that I've been telling you guys going downward. I don't know that for sure. I definitely think so. So, if I'm you, Gizmo, I'm still waiting. I mean, and I'm practicing what I'm preaching, man. You know, like I can afford to buy a house right now and I'm qualified, but I'm choosing to sit out. I'm waiting for the dust to settle. I'm waiting for the recession to be confirmed, the Fed to pivot, and the summer inventory dump. However, having said that, I'm an expert in my local housing market. So if I find a great deal, what do you guys think I'm going to do? I'm going to buy it. The thing is, I can't find a great deal and I'm looking all the time. So anyways, you guys have a great morning. Happy Tuesday. Look out for my 4 p.m. video. Let me get back over to this camera. So my video is going to be released at 4 p.m. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, guys, I absolutely love you. Good luck out there. And if you're interested, if you're out there investing in real estate, you already know I wish you luck and I hope you win.